Hello again, everyone. Okay, so we just heard about the bridge between politics and Bitcoin, but what about the bridge between traditional finance in Bitcoin? Up next, we have Serge Kaulitz of Luzerner Kantonalbank to talk about just that. Please give Serge a warm welcome to the stage.
Buongiorno. Hello, everyone. Excited to see so many people already here after partying hard with Nakamoto Band yesterday. And sharing your precious time, because we have something important to do today. We have to make bridges. And to give you a bit context why this was so important to bridge Bitcoin and traditional finance at our company, I give you some insights where I work. My bank is 175 years old. We're among the biggest banks of Switzerland, have a 70 billion balance sheet, state-owned, and the major shareholder is the canton of Lucerne. So it was really essential for us to bring people together to think about Bitcoin and how this network is working. And sometimes it gets really complicated, especially when you want to engage with the network and the protocol and blockchain integration. For example, think about transaction signings. We have a lot of hurdles and still a lot to do to get this streamlined. I would like to take you on a journey, a 10-year journey. Actually, we started 2016 with our project to deliver Bitcoin services to our customers. I will share some insights, also numbers, how this product evolves within our bank, and what challenges we had, and what I think was the key to bring this to success. One of the main lessons I learned the last 10 years is on the next slide. So every Bitcoin presentation, podcast, and publication should at least have a disclaimer. Right? So after my legal duty and this 15 seconds of your patience, I promise no more boring slides. So why do we want to bridge Bitcoin and traditional finance? Why actually we have to bridge it? And the answer is easy. Because Bitcoin already forces us to rethink how infrastructure and assets work. And that happens really fast. We see a market in constant motion. A lot of things happening around the globe, also in Switzerland, and unfolding right now. Let's go to the US. Regulation clarity is coming. So the Genius Act gave long-awaited clarity to stable coins and other digital assets. EU MiCAR, since 200 days in place, and we see the impact already now. Bitcoin institutional adoption is happening. Bitcoin reserves have been established the last few months, and already 12% of the entire Bitcoin supply are held by Bitcoin treasuries. So how fast this is going is really remarkable. Major banks already talking about accepting Bitcoin as collateral, or about bringing custody and trading to their customers. And yes, those banks which once said never. One number which highlights this for me the most is the next one. We figured that out at the beginning of the year. There was a Chainalysis report, and that says in North America, 70% of all transactions of crypto and Bitcoin transactions are above $1 million. When we go to Europe, we see a slightly lower number actually, but still an impressive 55 to 60% of all transactions are above $1 million. What that means? It's not retail anymore. These are institutionals, professionals, and experienced investors making big rails and shaping up the market. So what are the challenges actually for our bank to bring this and all traditional institutions to life? And it's like always, we talk so much about that. It's about knowledge, it's about prejudice, it's about reputation, and it's about complexity. The most things are still human. The technology side is not that complicated anymore because we have so many good providers out there and services which companies actually can choose. But we don't have to be naive at our company. A lot of people still think or associate Bitcoin with speculation, volatility, and headlines. And not with technology, trust, and verification. They don't see it like Bitcoin, like it really is. A protocol, a technology, another product actually. To give you some insight what we actually have at our bank and done in the last 10 years, here is a short wrap-up. So we started 2016 with several years of market research, studying with our customers what are the benefits for them and for us as bank, and how we would like to go with this technology. And we figured out, hey, this is a technology which could have a huge impact on the financial infrastructure. And yes, Bitcoin may shape as asset class like it is today. And we anticipated that right. So after 4 years of market research, 2020, we decided to build our own setup and infrastructure, a core layer, a foundation for future steps. So we have built our own custody, we have built our own trading desk 24/7, and also transfer in and out, already in place since 1 year. And what also was really important for us to understand future steps in the market is the experience, the people, to know how this works, to have them in-house, to study Bitcoin, to study the technology, and try it out. So all is built in-house, and the expertise is also. For our customers, it was really important to have an easy access to Bitcoin. And we invested a lot. So you can buy Bitcoin actually in 3 clicks within our bank. So it's a one-stop shop for our clients, all fully integrated in the e-banking, the environment they know, and can buy Bitcoin. To give you some numbers, how this evolves at our bank. Our average user is actually 44 years old and male. We expected actually a much younger client base when we researched about that. Maybe more 30-ish to 20-ish younger clients. But now this happens. For me, this is also a sign that the market is maturing. We see experienced investors, traders, professionals using our product. That means also Bitcoin is not about age, right? It's about trust and also education. What about growth? When we launched our product, 24, we had a growth of nearly 30% of customers which coming in. At 25, this number increased to 35%. That means that is one of the fastest growing products within our bank. And for me, that also means when you have a seamless integration, adoption follows fast. But the next number is actually the most encouraging for me. Almost a third of all of our users are actually have a saving plan. What that means? It's not just about trading. They have a long-term view. they invest systematically, monthly, weekly basis, daily basis, and Bitcoin is part of their financial planning. But sometimes my Bitcoin bubble popped a lot in discussions with the management, with operators, with regulators, and we had to face another reality. And I want to share the next insight and customer feedback to highlight this. This might sound a bit controversial on a Bitcoin conference, but it's the reality we face. One customer said, for the first time since holding Bitcoin, when I hold it on a bank, I actually could do something with it. I can combine it with other products. I can use it as collateral now at LookAB. And if I want, I can transfer it out to another custody solution, to my wallet. But what it really means for me is that it extends choice. Bitcoin is freedom of choice. And the good thing is we have so many good providers, products, solutions out there that users can now choose. And this customer really did self-custody a lot of years. And he does both now. And that's actually a good development. I would like to go deep dive in some topics we faced. And how we bridge actually traditional finance and Bitcoin. It's not a magic formula, it's easy. Some of you know and already use it at your corporation. It's about to understand and learning how the mechanics of the network and protocol are working. That means we're learning, we're trying out, hands-on, we're building on it, and then repeat. It's an iterative process. One of the most important things is education. Education is key. As I said, we talk a lot about that. It's really important that people at your organization and on all over the departments understand actually what Bitcoin really is and understand both sides of it. So we invest a lot in educating our customer relationship teams. We had almost 440 people educated on Bitcoin on several occasions. We do Bitcoin beers, we do panels, we do publications, and we learn and talk about how it is. But what is also is necessary, it has to be a really open discussion. Some points are still very controversial. We published a paper with the Swiss Blockchain Federation about privacy. And yes, we should have privacy. But a lot of people don't even think about that. They're not aware what privacy means on Bitcoin and blockchain, and we have to discuss it and have to talk about it. We also teach at the universities about Bitcoin economy, so we share our insights, how this was building and what other challenges and problems are. We talk about it on Bitcoin podcasts to figure out what's the problems, what could be in the future, and so on. We publicate some stuff in the media to talk about it, highlight some problems. And for me, this is the first bridge, to have a dialogue about it. You can also use ambassadors. We used a lot of small teams spreading the message, are really intrinsic motivated with Bitcoin, and talk about it with other customer relationship teams which are not so familiar with that. So that helps. And when you ever talk at a bank about Bitcoin and bridging that, it's about risks. And I can tell you, first when you talk to the management with that, they see a lot of risks. But it's also about reducing risks. And we can learn a lot from Bitcoin and his mechanics and his principles to reduce them. There are several dimensions: technology, legal, reputation, organization, and so on, to catch. I would like to highlight two main use cases which represent actually this risk topic and how we get going. The first is Bitcoin as collateral. When I came first into the credit team and talked about, hey, we would like to use Bitcoin as collateral, they looked at me and said, come on, you're not serious, right? Yes, I think Bitcoin is a really good collateral. And they asked me, okay, what do you do on Sunday? I said, yeah, it's 24/7. They didn't know about that. So this process, and what it really means actually that we have Bitcoin as collateral, or what it represents for me, is the mind shift which is happening. People think about, yeah, it's a 24/7 network. We can liquidate if we have to, also on Sunday. And last but not least, it reduces risk when we do it properly. The second thing is custody. For us, it was the same like for many Bitcoiners, not your keys, not your coins. It's also for us as banks. We wanted to understand and how to handle and have a secure and safe custody solution. So we prepared our key custody and key management 2 years in the making before we made the key ceremony. It was all about scenarios. What could go wrong? And I can tell you, when you're in the management boards, they tell you a lot of things which could go wrong. Some might be right, some others not. So 2 years in the making, a lot of scenarios happened, and after that, we didn't know that it works, that we can make a safe custody solution for our clients and ourselves. What's also important, I think, is to use the technology properly. It has so many benefits, and that's actually the main benefit of Bitcoin and blockchain per se. It makes better products out of it, streamlined, 24/7, end-to-end, transferable, and so on. And it also makes us think as bank how we could implement that. To make it tangible, that's actually a real UI of our transfer in, transfer out solution. It was really important that our clients, which the most of them don't know Bitcoin or very tech enthusiastic or deep into the topic, to have an easy and safe access actually to that. So you scan a QR codes, and after that, your Bitcoin within our solution, our custody, just a few seconds later. But there are still some hurdles. We have a long way to go, as I said. We have to do a proof of ownership, so regulation is there. And we have to look how we make that user-friendly for our customers. We believe Bitcoin is open, technology is open, and we want to give customers a choice. That is the reason why we integrated actually transfer in and transfer out as one of the first banks in Switzerland to give customers a choice. And we want to be part of it. But as I said, it's not that easy. We still have a lot to do and with regulation and authorities. But what's also one of the main learnings is that when you start small, you can scale afterwards. That's also not that new, but it really made a success within our bank. So we started with the easy things like trading, like custody, then they go to saving plans, and after that to transfers, and now to Bitcoin as collateral. Several steps, and we learned all the way. We got feedbacks from customers and could make a better product. And what really highlights how we do that is actually this. 1 year ago, we already implemented Lightning at our restaurant, the bar. So not a pilot. It was real coffee, real money. We tried it out, how it works on a core banking system and at our restaurant. And that's one of the main things we're trying to do, hands-on mechanics, learning from the principles from Bitcoin and other cooperation, how we can make it tangible and easy to bring in. 3 key learnings out of that. Yes, it's still a small percentage of our client base, but as I said, it's growing fast. And the next one is actually the one which makes me most proud, because it's not only about Bitcoin, it's about rethinking services. Bitcoin services pushed our technology offering per se. We rethink how an offering is made, because customer wants 24/7 access, they want live stream, they want an end-to-end digital journey, and we hadn't that before. Now our organization has it. And you should have a solid technology foundation, because as I said, a lot of things happening around the globe, and it's so fast, you have to be ready on the regulation side, on the technology side, and the organization side about what's coming next, and to build modular modules, products, to bring that to the customers. And now I'm getting excited. We're coming to announcement part. We actually, I see 2 killer use cases by now, at least. The first is stablecoins. That will be the first announcement, and the second is Bitcoin, of course. That will be the second announcement. So when you look at traditional finance infrastructure, stablecoins may become a big part of the future infrastructure. Just one number. In certain quarters, 60 to 80% of all crypto transactions are in stablecoins. And that is not about speculation, it's about utility. So we want to provide solutions for that for our customers, and that's why we will list in the coming days Tether as stablecoin. Second announcement. Bitcoin-backed lending. As I said, for me, the biggest thing about that is the mind shift. And a few weeks ago, I had the honor to present, we are going into Bitcoin as collateral. But we won't stop there. The mind shift is happening. So the second announcement is Berglinde and Lukaby join forces, and yeah, Phil.
Hey, Serge.
Yeah.
Sorry, there is a slight change in the storyline here.
Oh, what? Really?
While
sorry.
we are still obviously very, very excited to partner up with you guys,
Yeah.
Berglinde, as of this week, won't exist with that name anymore. We became part of Blockstream Capital Partners.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
no.
And so with BCP, with Blockstream Capital Partners, that's exactly what we try to do. We try to bring traditional financial institutions onto a Bitcoin standard. We will work on asset management solutions, we will provide lending facilities, and we will make sure that basically capital markets will be built on a Bitcoin standard. And we will do that obviously with the right and the best Bitcoin principles in mind, and we will try to help financial institutions such as LUKB, which we are super excited that we are one of your first partners, or you are one of our first partners, and very much looking forward on what the future has to bring for all of us.
That's actually great news. But then we have to do the announcement differently, right?
A little bit, yes, I would say.
Yeah, so let's do it like this. LUKB and Blockstream Capital Partners, one of the leading providers of Bitcoin infrastructure, joining forces to bring lending to the next frontier of traditional finance. And it starts at 26 in the second half of this year. Yeah, thank you.